Welcome to today's lesson, 10 useful tips in 10 minutes for Microsoft Excel 2010. One of the first features I want to show you has been built into every version of Excel since Excel 97. You have a large number of sheet tabs across the bottom. You spend a lot of time clicking, tabbing, trying to get a specific tab. There's a quick way to do it. Been there since Excel 97. What I want you to do is right-click on the sheet navigation buttons in the lower left. You get a list of 15 sheets, and all you do is click to select the sheet you want to go to. If there are more than 15 sheets, you'll go to More Sheets, which will give you a scroll screen where you'll just, again, select the sheet you want to go to, click, and click OK. A very quick and useful way to get back and forth very quickly. You could use Control Page Up and Control Page Down like we're doing here right here, but that's a long and involved process. Again, right-click in the lower left-hand corner in the sheet navigation buttons and select the tab or sheet you want to go to from the list that's presented to you. A great time-saving tool. On to our next tip. Deal with the AutoSum feature. Notice you click below the column where you want your total to appear, go to the ribbon, choose the editing option, and choose AutoSum, and lo and behold, there's your formula inserted for you in that particular place that you selected. However, there is a much faster way to do it using a keyboard shortcut. What you want to do is hold the Alt key and press the equal sign at the same time. Lo and behold, there's the same formula. But it does have an additional feature with it. We'll use Control Z to back out. We're going to select the one column, Control click the bottom of the column F, use or Alt equal, and notice how it does both automatically as sums. A very quick way to get your AutoSum feature in place, total your columns. The next trick is really simple. If you ever created a formula, in this case we're going to take sales plus cost of goods and expenses. We're going to create a formula, and then we're going to select the cell F2, click in the right corner with the crosshairs and drag down to fill in our formula. However, how many times is your mouse taken off like a shot and you've gone all over the place trying to catch up with it? In this case, Control Z to back out. We're going to type in our formula again. This time equals sales plus cost of goods plus expenses. Again, we get the same result. Formula is in there, but in this case we're going to go to the little corner, and in this case we're going to double click. By double clicking, it'll fill in the formula all the way down to the last used cell in the row to the left of the column. A quick way to fill in and save you some problems with the movement of the mouse. Another area of concern is the movement of the mouse. You want to get to the bottom of a column really quickly. You can scroll all the way down and hopefully the mouse doesn't take off like a NASCAR, and then you go up and down and keep trying to relocate the cursor position. In our case, what we're going to do is hold the Control key and press the down arrow key, which will pop us down to the last used entry in the column. Right arrow, up arrow, left arrow to find the borders of our data. This works with contiguous data and makes it a lot easier. If you also want to select the data rather than just to move around, what we're going to do in this case is we're going to select C2 through E2. Again, do our Control Shift down arrow to select the range. Control Shift down. Think of Shift or S to select. A quick way to select your data for purposes such as tables, etc. Charting is a very common requirement in Excel these days, and to create a chart normally you'd select your data range that you want to create the chart from, go up to the ribbon, choose Insert, choose Column Chart, for example in this case 2D column. Bingo, there's our chart based on our data. There are quicker ways to do this. Again, using the keyboard shortcuts we can make our life a lot easier. So what we're going to do is Control Z to delete our chart. We're going to click in the area that we will again our selection, hold the Alt key and press F1 at the same time, and lo and behold, there's the identical chart on our sheet. Again, Alt plus F1 gives us a chart on the same sheet as the data. If you want on a separate sheet, we press the F11 key, and lo and behold, the chart goes on its own tab, in this case called Chart 1. Makes it a lot easier when you want to print a chart off and not accidentally print other data because you didn't select your range properly before you did your print. Our next tip will have to do with using a new tool called Control-Enter, and we're also going to use some other tools in the meantime. We're typing in a new heading and a new column, my profit. I want to format it the same as in F1. I'm going to use the Format Painter just to make sure it all looks the same. I'm going to widen the column just a little bit, and now I'm going to click in G2, and I'm going to type my formula. Typically you type it, then either double click, as we showed you earlier, to copy it all the way down. In this case, we're going to select the range first. Then we're going to go to G2 and type in our formula, in this case, equal to C2 plus D2. And what we're going to do in this case is we're going to hold the Control key and press Enter, and boom, Control Enter fills in the formula all the way down. Control Enter says to repeat either formula, data, whatever it is, in the range that we have selected. And also here what I've done is I just use Format Painter to format paint the column with the same currency format as the previous column. Notice though, but it changed my profit to the format of the other, so again I'm going to have to copy over the heading format, again using Format Painter. Neat little tool to get you back on the straight and narrow really quickly. For our next tip, we're going to use what's called text to columns. Many times we have data that's got multiple entries in the same column. We want to split it up. In our case, we want to split up Joe Smith as Joe in one column, Smith in the other. So what we're going to do is we're going to select our range, again using our Control Shift down as we showed you before. Go up to the Data tab and choose Text to Columns under Data Tools. If you'll look for a second to explain what it is. So it asks, is your data delimited? Well, ours is by a space. Once we select space, it'll show you how it will separate it. We will click Next at this point, and when we choose Next, we could choose where we want it to go. In our case, we chose Finish, which says automatically overwrite what's in the first column with Joe and put Smith in the second column. Something very popular, well used by a number of people. Now what we're going to do is put it back together in a different format using the concatenate. Concatenate allows us to put strings together as one string. So we're going to choose concatenate. We're going to choose the last name, in this case Smith, it's in B2. We're going to use the ampersand to say we want right next to it. We'll put a double quote, a comma, space, double quote, another ampersand, and the last part, which in this case will be Joe, which is an A2. When we press Enter, we'll see how it'll put this all together in reverse sequence. We now have Smith, comma, Joe. We'll copy that down. Again, remember, double click to fill in the formula all the way down in our referential references for our formulas. Again, text to columns and concatenate, two very popular text commands. One of the things we have to do many times is work on formulas. In our case, we're going to find our formula in F4, and normally to edit a formula, you will go up to the formula work area, then come back down, make sure it worked, go back up if you have to modify it. What we're going to do is do something different. We're going to press the F2 key, which will allow us to edit within the cell, so we can work on our formula. Instead of playing the tennis match going back and forth, we can go ahead and work on it in situ. A heck of a lot easier than going back and forth. You notice in this case we have a little yellow diamond, and what it is Excel saying that we should have included year and quarter as numbers in our formula, but we know it's right, so we're going to ignore the formula, the error. Now moving on, there'll be times that you want to see whether you have formulas or values. Using Control tilde, the one under the escape key, looks like a curvy eye. It will show you, it'll toggle between values and formulas within the cells on your sheet. Make it a lot easier many times when you're trying to find that formula and you're not sure what is in the cell. We hope you enjoyed our 10 useful tips in 10 minutes from Microsoft Excel 2010, brought to you by Computer Mastery, facilitating mastery of computer technology. For more information on our services, we can be reached at www.computermastery.com or through email at excel@computermaster.com. Thank you for your attention, and watch for our next series on Excel 2013.